Good morning, this is your TDT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. Housing Minister and Caroni Central MP David Lee has said discussions are currently taking place on the possible use of drone technology to bolster the work of the Predial Larceny Squad as part of wider efforts to improve surveillance, response times, and enforcement against agricultural theft. Speaking at a hot pepper production workshop hosted by the Mar Vista Institute for Agricultural Training and Development, Minister Lee said he fully supports the use of the technology. However, he noted that the proposed move is still at the discussion stage.
In Cabinet, we had some discussions, it's just discussions, and brought by Minister Rathiram, and I would second it. I would support it. It's about utilizing drones in the assistance of Predial Larceny to help the Predial Larceny Squad to utilize drone technology in the help of fighting that area that is really a bugbear and really an issue for the farmers of our country.
Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Ravi Rathiram says efforts are already underway within his ministry to respond to challenges faced by farmers.
This is something that within the Ministry of Agriculture we continue to treat and deal with on a daily basis, and we have set up our People's Resolution Unit where whatever the issue may be that farmers are being affected by. Just yesterday, I got some pictures and a call from a farmer in Limehead Road where he had some peas trees and it was infected with a black bug. And I sent it off to our People's Resolution Unit. And while sitting here, I got the report that the agronomists and the extension officers from our county office would have already visited him and they would have identified what the problem is.
In other news, Minister of Education Dr. Michael Dowlath has doubled down on plans to include artificial intelligence in the learning process for students. Speaking at the spoken word and poetry competition held Tuesday at the Petritrin Staff Club in Pointe-à-Pierre, he emphasized that the new learning tools are intended to ensure uniform standards across the education system, particularly for vulnerable students.
The AI-supported learning materials that we have provided, especially for all students, is aligned to the Ministry of Education curriculum. And we are ensuring that all students, especially those who are vulnerable, will have the same standard of learning materials throughout the education system in Trinidad and Tobago. This goes in tandem with our laptop initiative.
He also outlined upcoming changes to curriculum delivery. Dr. Dowlath said the ministry is exploring the introduction of continuous assessment at the primary school level aimed at reducing the pressure associated with the secondary entrance assessment exam.
So that at the Ministry of Education, we are looking at all of the reforms to maintain the standards in terms of curriculum delivery, but also to ensure that the students at the center of it, they find time to engage in activities beside the academics where they can holistically develop themselves.
The minister said that reforms to the Student Support Services Division were being guided by data collected from schools, which was helping to better support students, including those with learning challenges such as autism and ADHD. In sport now, the Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders will begin their Caribbean Premier League title defense on August 8th, facing the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in a historic opening fixture in St. Vincent, the first time the tournament will host matches there. CPL Media unveiled the 2026 schedule on Tuesday, confirming a record 39-match season from August 7th to September 20th, with 7 teams competing for the first time. The Knight Riders campaign includes away fixtures in Jamaica and Antigua before returning to Trinidad on August 26th to face the St. Lucia Kings. They will also meet the Barbados Royals, Jamaica Kingsmen, and Antigua and Barbuda Falcons at home. The team closes the preliminary round with away matches in Barbados and Guyana. And that's what's making the news this morning. But joining us right now is the host of Trinidad and Tobago Today, Virmala Balkaran. Good morning, Virmala.
Good morning, my good friend Carrie.
I love that greeting.
Listen, I am dragging to the weekend.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both.
I don't know why. I've been asking everyone, why do we feel so burnt out this week? This week feels extremely long.
Yeah, it does. It does. It feels like a week in January, you know?
It does, yeah. A million weeks in 1 week itself. But today is Denim Day. Thanks for reminding me of that this morning.
Yeah,
I am
of
wearing
course.
blue for Denim Day.
I
see
have
you-
on blue too, and I will stand in solidarity, but I don't have much denim.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, you don't seem like a denim person.
I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Well, I like denim, you know, in small amounts, but today is a very special day. Why they call that Denim Day? Well, it's an annual day to promote awareness, Carrie, sexual assault and solidarity with victims. And this stems from the 1990s. Of course, we were discussing that a little earlier on.
Yeah, that
An
case in
Italian
Italy.
case where basically an 18-year-old girl was sexually assaulted by a 45-year-old driving instructor on her first driving lesson. And the case ended up being so many twists and turns, and at the end of it all, he got out of this. Why? Because she was wearing denim and the jeans were very tight, and the court ended up ruling that she must have aided in her assault and it was consensual.
Oh, because she was wearing tight jeans, right?
Yes, and that
Yeah.
she may have aided in the removal of the jeans. So it was absolutely unbelievable,
Yeah, that's
absurd.
crazy. That's a complete miscarriage of justice, blaming the victim on top of that.
Exactly. So women outside of the parliament or off the parliament as well at that time wore denim as an act of solidarity.
That's why we celebrate Denim Day today.
Yep, we're observing Denim Day, and it's very interesting how, you know, victim blaming goes, and that's a whole different conversation. But of
I do
course,
hope that now in 2026 that has changed completely.
yeah, well, this was the 90s, and we can only hope that now this ruling was overturned in 2008. Let me just tell you that.
Good.
So this is a case from 1992, and since then we've been observing Denim Day on this day.
All right.
Well, we learned
Thank you
something
for the
new today, Carrie.
education. What's that, sorry?
We learned something new today.
We did learn something new today.
Yeah, well, we have another packed show for you. We continue our discussion on firearms trafficking. We have some very special guests joining us. Also today, Carrie, we have a link up. We are joined by
right, yeah, I
one
love
of our
those.
sister stations. Let me see if you can guess who that is, because it is Wednesday. We do this Wednesday through Friday.
Right.
So we're doing our first sister station today, which is Talk City 91.1 FM. Then we're joined by Camino International and, of course, right here with Carrie Roberts. Do you know him?
I may know him. He's that guy that goes in the bush plenty often, and he cooks and stuff too. You know, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Well, we'll see that guy in a short bit, Carrie. Talk
All
soon.
right.
All right.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Virmala.
You're welcome.
When we come back, the Trinidad and Tobago Today morning show gets going after this break.
When it matters, we're there, reporting the news as it happens, because your world can't wait. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
The time is now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. No, not that. Right now. Why not? Why not? Right now. All I need is one night.
We're gonna have to splurge on it.
All I need is one night. I went deaf on it. No, not that. Right now. Why not? Why not? Right now. All I need is one night.
We're gonna have to splurge on it.
All I need is one night. I went deaf on it. This is the new day.
A new sound, a new style, a new style, a new class. Next 99.1 FM, the next level of radio.
Right now.
Women are a quiet strength the world leans on, the hands that holds everything together, and the heart that keeps on giving, even when they're tired. And it's time for us to celebrate that. I'm Yashamani, your host of Majestic Makeover, the series which uplifts and transforms the lives of everyday women who've carried so much for so long. In this season, we're looking for women like these, women who have endured, women who survived, women who keep on going, no matter what. A woman who's lost a loved one, and finds the strength to go on. A survivor of crime who refused to be broken. A woman over 70 who gives to her family and the community every single day. A survivor of serious illness who continues to live with hope and courage. A physically challenged woman living fully with dignity and determination. These are the stories we want to honor. Do you know her? Nominate her. Let's celebrate her. Send us 2 brief paragraphs which briefly states who she is, your relationship to her, and why she deserves this journey. As well, send us your contact information. Send it to majesticmakeovertt@gmail.com. Because remember, every woman needs to feel majestic. Majestic Makeover Season 3, right here on TTT.
Wednesday, 29th April 2026. The time now, it is 6:11 a.m. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago and the world. I'm Virmala Balkaran and welcome to Trinidad and Tobago Today. Well, let's take a look now at what's trending this morning. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bisesa says she does not believe Trinidad and Tobago is being sidelined as Venezuela's acting president continues a series of high-level meetings with regional leaders across the Caribbean. Well, Prasad-Bisesa said that discussions between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela remain ongoing, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs maintaining regular contact with Caracas. And her comments follow recent regional visits by Venezuela's acting president to Barbados and Grenada, where talks focused on energy cooperation, food production, and air connectivity. And the Prime Minister, however, dismissed suggestions of any diplomatic slight, saying that she is comfortable with the current state of relations and that engagement continues through established diplomatic channels. And she also pointed to shifting regional dynamics, and she noted that Venezuela's leader is now engaging more broadly across the Caribbean following earlier travel restriction. And Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, Senator David Naked, was robbed of $10,000 and several $1,000s worth of perfume after his car was broken into in Cascade on Monday. Police are saying that Naked had parked and secured his vehicle before entering a nearby business. And when he returned minutes later, he discovered the rear window smashed and several items missing, including cash, bank cards, identification, and even high-end perfume. And then he later reported the matter to the Belmont police station. And in other news now, WASA is moving to boost the country's water supply with plans for 3 new desalination plants in Moruga, Mayaro, and Charlottesville, but they're not doing it alone. So the authority has issued a request for information, essentially inviting private companies with experience in desalination to come forward with proposals to design, build, finance, and even operate the plants. Now, government will cover up to 50% of the capital cost, while private partners handle all the rest. And WASA is calling on both local and international investors and developers to participate. The deadline for queries is May 6th, with final submissions due on May 20th. Well, the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League has announced fixtures for its 2026 season for all the sports fans, with 39 matches set to bowl off from August 7th to September 20th. And this year's tournament features an expanded 7-team lineup, including reigning champions, the Trinbago Knight Riders. And in a historic first, matches will be played in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, while Barbados will host the finals for the very first time. So that's something you don't want to miss. CPL CEO Pete Russell says this league is aiming to deliver its biggest and most memorable season yet. The Trinbago Knight Riders kick off their CPL 2026 campaign on August 8th against the Patriots with 5 home games set for late August into early September, including clashes with the Royals and Amazon Warriors. So if you are a cricket fan, that is definitely what you're going to be looking forward to. CPL is indeed the biggest party in sport. Well, yesterday, when I left the show, I had the honor and privilege of attending the San Fernando West constituency launch of its 2026 spoken word and poetry competition, an initiative that I believe will do far more than crown winners on June 12th, but it will truly give the young people a meaningful platform to think, to feel, and to speak boldly through poetry. And it's centered on the Father's Day theme, the power of a father's presence. And this competition invites both primary and secondary school students to write and perform original pieces, encouraging not just literary talent, but confidence and emotional expression. We also heard heartfelt remarks from Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath, who even shared his favorite poem and reminded everyone in the room just how deeply words can stay with us. Also, our very own Mariah Ramharak was present. She was actually the host of this event. And I am also one of the 3 female judges for this competition, and I had the opportunity to share my personal journey with poetry and literature, my days at Lakshmi Girls Hindu College, and now I feel even more eager to see and hear the stories, the creativity, and the honesty that these students will bring when the finals take place in June. Well, coming up inside the show today, we continue our discussions on firearms trafficking in the Caribbean and much more. We have a link up with Talk City 91.1 FM. We are also joined by Camino Realty International and so much more on Trinidad and Tobago today. So grab your cup of coffee, take a little break, sit down, put your feet up, or if you're getting ready for work, we're so happy to have you here. Trinidad and Tobago Today has begun.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
Whatever the skies bring, stay prepared with TTT weather. Committed, accurate, relevant.
What if possibility was only the beginning? Welcome to Limitless, a journey where ideas become action and action becomes impact. From breaking barriers and challenging misconceptions to designing with dignity and driving innovation with heart. This series explores how inclusion is moving from concept to community in Trinidad and Tobago. Across each episode, we meet the change makers and everyday leaders turning challenges into opportunity, building real solutions that change real lives, from possibility to impact. This is Limitless.
Ever Ever wondered what happens before the lights come on? Before the crowd pours in? Before the magic hits the stage? This is your all-access pass. Sneak Peek with Junior K takes you behind the scenes of the biggest cultural moments and the hottest events across TNT. From the sound checks to the stage setups, from final rehearsals to exclusive interviews. If it's about to be big, we're already there. Catch Sneak Peek airing daily on TTT and relive every moment on all our social media platforms. Sneak Peek with Junior K, where the story starts before the spotlight.
The fight against illegal firearms trafficking remains one of the most urgent security challenges facing the Caribbean, with criminal networks exploiting porous borders and regional routes to move weapons that fuel violence across our nations. In response, the U.S. Department of State's International Law Enforcement Academy San Salvador is hosting a major alumni workshop here in Port of Spain on small arms trafficking in the Caribbean on April 29th and 30th. More than 70 law enforcement professionals from 11 Caribbean countries are participating in discussions focused on emerging trafficking trends, investigative tools, case studies, and stronger international cooperation. Well, joining us for this very important conversation today are Jackie Cunningham, Acting Chief of International Affairs Division of the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, who oversees ATF's global liaison investigations and international training efforts, and Tanya Ayao, Deputy Executive Director of CARICOM Impacts, with more than 2 decades of experience in regional crime, security coordination, and strategic law enforcement support across CARICOM member states. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
So yesterday we began this conversation, and I'm so glad that you are here now to continue this discussion about this workshop and the greater general issue. So firstly, let me start by asking, how is ATF supporting this workshop and by extension Trinidad and Tobago and the region in combating firearms trafficking?
Well, thank you for having us today. I really appreciate it. We are here because we are making sure that our partnerships in the region internationally are combined efforts to combat firearms trafficking and to increase the network that we can to work together so that we can make sure that all of the intelligence sharing allows for the complete package to actually target these transnational organizations.
So this is genuinely about cooperation and international cooperation as well. So what role does that play in addressing gun violence, especially in this region?
So I'd like to say that from an operational perspective, no man is an island. You have to have cooperation because a lot of these criminal networks are transnational in nature. From a policy perspective, you also have to do a lot of collaboration and cooperation because the number of activities, the number of policies that need to be established based on international norms require experts from across the field. And so you have to have a number of organizations, both policy-wise and operationally, to foster collaboration and to achieve success.
So yesterday, we talked a little bit about gun technology, and it's a very interesting topic. So I want to hear now from you, how does the ATF crime gun technology improve investigations in Trinidad and Tobago?
So the Crime Gun Intelligence Unit is a unit under CARICOM Impacts, and what it really does is it fosters collaboration across CARICOM as well as internationally. I think yesterday the Commissioner of Police mentioned that perhaps 95% of the firearms, illegal firearms, come from the United States. So obviously for investigations, information sharing, we must be able to collaborate with our partners, ATF, for example. And of course, regionally, what we know is that guns move, so that they don't just stay in one place and be used for a crime, they move across the region. So you have to have that information sharing, collaboration with your other regional law enforcement partners.
Yeah. Now, looking beyond the current operations, how is the long-term collaboration between the CARICOM impacts and the United States federal entities like the ATF structured?
Well, we actually partner with all of our regional partners, excuse me, internationally and domestically, so that we can actually have such a collaboration of information sharing. This also leads to our other technologies that we have available with our tracing programs, our A-Trace program, along with what in the United States it's our National Integrated Ballistics Information Network, which also links also to the regional integrated, integrated ballistic information network here in the region in the Caribbean. Those two things also bring leads, investigative leads, so that we can find out where these networks are starting, if they're sourced firearms from the United States, and actually have target transnational organizations with bilateral investigations, both in the United States and in the region, so that we're taking down the entire crime network versus just having the silos within the Caribbean.
Yeah. Now, the CGIU as a unit of CARICOM has become critical to the Caribbean's security architecture. So could you highlight for us some of the unit's most significant successes in disrupting illicit firearms supply chains and how these results have impacted regional crime trends?
So the unit was started within CARICOM Impacts in 2023. And since then, they have been working with other units within CARICOM Impacts that are critical as well to what we are speaking about, because again, it's a chain of activities, a chain of events. Thus far, we've had several indictments on the U.S. side, and then because of the collaboration and the cooperation, what we are finding is that we are coordinating more information sharing across the board, across the region. And events such as this today, while some may think, oh, well, this is another talk shop. No, it's not. It actually helps foster and deepen the collaboration in the region and with our international partners such as ATF and others, because again, once we know each other, we trust each other, we share the information, we work together well.
Yeah. So as you spoke about that, and it's not just a talk shop. So firearms trafficking methods continue to evolve, as you would agree. So how important is it now for regional agencies to stay on top of this, to stay ahead of the training, the intelligence? Because yesterday the commissioner said they're getting smarter, criminals are getting smarter, and so too must the investigative trends. Everything like that must also evolve with all of that.
The advantage that the criminals have is that they don't have laws to follow, so they can adapt very easily. Whereas we have frameworks, laws, norms to follow.
Yes.
In essence, one of the things out of this partnership, one of the successes is that we've had continuous training from the ATF, for example, across the region. The ATF has put a number of resources across the region: Trinidad, Jamaica, Bahamas, Dominican Republic. Have I missed anything, Jackie?
No, yeah, sure.
And certainly because of those resources in country, they have boosted the capacity for firearms investigations in the region.
Yeah. So what are the practical outcomes that you are hoping that participating officers and officers will take away from this workshop?
So one of the biggest things, as Tanya was mentioning, is that criminals don't have any borders. They're able to go anywhere, and unfortunately we have to still abide by our laws and policies, so they have an advantage over us. This workshop allows for collaboration and networking so that we can actually be a force multiplier. Everybody is scarce resources as always, and so to be able to share best practices and to be able to know how we can work together on these investigations, as we can broaden our borders the same way as the criminals do, to be able to work together as a team.
Yeah. So this definitely, this collaboration between the U.S. agencies and the Caribbean security institutions, would you agree that it sends a really strong message to the criminal networks operating across the region? Like, hey, we're coming. We're doing more to ensure that, we keep on top of things. You would agree, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I believe that once people start seeing the successes, once people see that they cannot act with impunity, then that message is clearly sent.
Yeah. All right, ladies, tell me a little bit again about this workshop from your perspective. It's a 2-day workshop, right?
Yes.
Can people get involved? What are the details of this event?
I'll defer to Jackie.
So there are, I believe, 11 countries going to be participating in this, and there's several U.S. partners that we are also doing with ATF providing the instruction. But it's really sharing some of the current trends that we might be seeing, but also no matter what the trends are, going back to what our best practices are to actually have great bilateral investigations. Because again, if they're U.S. sourced firearms, we want to make sure that the network that is routing firearms into the Caribbean are targeted in the United States, as well as helping our partners in the region to be able to have the tools that they need to be able to target them here in the region.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to most about this, Tanya?
Well, in the last 2 days, in preparation for this meeting, our partners have been here. They've come over to our headquarters. They have seen how we operate. They have seen how we collaborate. I mean, Jackie is in Washington, so on a day-to-day basis, she will not see it, but her agents who are here will be collaborating day-to-day, and I think they have really seen the successes of that. And I hope that today and tomorrow that our regional partners really see how their collaboration, cooperation, the fact that they're sharing information, the successes that have been realized because of that.
Any closing comments, Jackie, before we go?
We are just dedicated to be continuing having this partnership. We have attachés in the Bahamas, in Jamaica, and here in CARICOM Impacts here in Trinidad and Tobago that cover the southern Caribbean also. We have an analyst here, and we just want to make sure that we continue to partner and be ahead of, as much as we can, of the criminal networks.
And our mandate is to serve our member states, our regional member states. But in order to do so, we have to foster both regional, international partnerships. And so we are committed to doing what we have been mandated to do and committed to continuing and fostering this relationship in a very sustainable manner.
Thank you very much,
Thank
ladies.
you so much for your time.
For being here this morning. All the best in that workshop. It's the 29th and 30th, am I correct?
Yes.
Of April, yes. So that's coming up, and of course we will keep you updated with all the highlights coming out of that workshop as well. We take a short break, and then we come back with more on Trinidad and Tobago today. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Good morning if you're just joining us.
TTT Weather with Zaina James, daily at 7 p.m.
Struggling with heart health or frequent migraines? Discover the simple steps to reclaim your energy and vitality.
We're diving into a topic that affects about 422 million people around the world: diabetes.
Tune into Wellness Unlocked, the series that delivers expert advice, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your health and well-being. Your health matters. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on TTT and take the first step toward better health.
Barcelona drawing a game, not winning their first set of game. Worried, concerned.
Emotional damage is fun to see.
What a wonderful finish!
see any story. Let me come again. One more time.
Up for this exciting challenge and confident about your business? If you are, the 10-20 feature is just what you need. It's where you give your customers 10 reasons in 20 seconds why they should shop by you. This fun-filled feature will be captured, packaged, and aired on television and promoted on social media simultaneously. Small, medium, and large businesses call or WhatsApp 764-3378 or 313-4215. Let's feature your business. 1020 with Junior K. It's affordable, effective, and fun.
Well, we woke up to a really warm morning. For some reason, it's a little bit hot today. Well, let's find out what the weather is going to be like for the rest of the day with the weather report from Zaina James.
Zaina James here with your weather update. For Wednesday's forecast, we are expecting a stable atmosphere to be the dominant feature across our area, producing a hot and sunny day across both Trinidad and Tobago. With a relatively dry atmosphere in place, precipitation chances will remain very low, though the odd brief shower cannot be ruled out. Temperatures will climb to around 33 degrees in Trinidad and 31 degrees in Tobago. At sea, conditions will be moderate in open waters, with wave heights near 1.5 meters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. With a new moon approaching on the 1st of May, spring tides will remain in effect, so all marine interests are advised to exercise caution, especially around high tide.
Well, beauty can be found in every corner of our sweet island, and the southeastern corner specifically possesses much to behold. Well, known for its oil and gas fields, Guayaguayare has much more to offer than just industry. Take this trip with us for this installment of Right Here with Carrie Roberts.
Guayaguayare, once a thriving indigenous community before Columbus's arrival and subsequent colonialism led to their demise, is now a fishing village. The name Guayaguayare is the last remnant of its original inhabitants. The area once thrived on cotton, cocoa, sugarcane, and coffee agriculture before transitioning to coconut plantations. In 1870, oil was discovered, and the first commercially viable oil wells were established in 1902, shifting the area's commercial focus. Although on-land oil deposits have dwindled, offshore oil exploitation remains prosperous today. Located at the southern end of Mayaro County, Guaya shares similarities with the Manzanilla-Mayaro coastline, constantly battered by Atlantic waves. Coastal erosion over centuries has reduced the area's size to less than half of what it was in the 1780s. Despite this, expansive sandy shores stretch for miles, exemplified by La Savane Beach, named for its savanna-like appearance. The flat, wide shoreline with golden sands extends north and south, bordered by eroded hills. The shore is scattered with colorful seashells and the occasional chip-chip. To the south, an interesting land formation beckons exploration. This part of the journey starts just outside the BP building. Parking along the roadside is at your own risk, but the area is busy with workers ensuring it's within view of many. Walking along the external fence leads to another beach section closer to the formation known as Sharp Rock. Approaching the shore allows for a closer look at this natural landmark. For the curious, reaching beyond Sharp Rock involves a challenging path, hopping over numerous rocks, a tricky rope-assisted shimmy around a boulder, and navigating unstable moss-covered rocks to reach the water's edge. Here, the vast, dark, swirling waters of the Atlantic evoke a foreboding feeling, highlighting its tireless and consuming nature. Doubling back on our path and pressed for time, we almost abandoned the search for Table Rock. Fortunately, kind workers guided us with directions. A brief uphill trek leads to a clearing and steps. The forest trail to the right of these stairs is the correct path. Though short, the trail is mostly inclined but manageable. Applying insect repellent is essential due to the swarms of mosquitoes in the forest. Exiting the grove reveals a captivating view where the sea meets the horizon with lofty cliffs ahead. Below, the aptly named Table Rock juts out into the sea. Reaching it requires a careful descent using aids reminiscent of the game Snakes and Ladders. At last, standing on flat ground, the intricate patterns on the worn rock faces become visible. Looking south, the view offers endless ocean, an excellent fishing spot. To the west, a portion of the southern coast with rolling hills is visible, and north of the eastern edge of the rock lies a rocky beach and the backside of Sharp Rock. The area's most inviting feature is a small cove to the right and rear of Table Rock. Sheltered by Table Rock itself, the waves here gently lap on the pinkish-hued shore, and the waters are clearer. Accessing this secluded gem requires jumping off or climbing down into the water from Table Rock, as sheer cliff walls prevent access from elsewhere. I'm Carrie Roberts, giving you a glimpse of the paradise we have right here.
This segment was brought to you by Caribbean Glass Specialists Limited, with over 65 years in business, delivering superior quality aluminium windows, doors and shower enclosures, along with complete glass and aluminium solutions for residential and commercial spaces, with supply and installation across Trinidad and Tobago and exports throughout the region. Craftsmanship you can trust.
Penal is no stranger to flooding during the rainy season, with residents and businesses often affected by rising waters. In a response, a coordinated cleanup effort is underway led by Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarath alongside the Penal-Debe Regional Corporation and key state agencies. Teams from WASA, the Drainage Division, Highways Division and Traffic Management are working to desilt watercourses across Penal and surrounding communities. And officials say the goal is to improve drainage ahead of the rainy season and reduce the risk of future flooding.
From the Honourable Prime Minister, who's a parliamentary representative for the constituency of Siparia. We're here partnering with the PDRC and WASA to ensure that desilting takes place across the constituency. There will be a number of works that are happening, whether it's through the Drainage Department, whether it's through the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. A collaborative approach to ensuring that flood mitigation is high on our priority list. And this is all courtesy of the Honourable Prime Minister, who is the parliamentary representative for the constituency of Siparia, together with our councillors, who have always been very hands-on when it comes to flood mitigation. In these parts and these areas, we are committed to getting the job done ahead of the rainy season.
For example, of collaborating across ministries, it is a first and it will take care of a very serious concern that all of our businesses have been speaking about, the plugged underground drains. So this special technology today here will take care of that. We're very thankful for the Prime Minister's vision to make it happen, and people first, where across the ministries, the WASA is providing this type of technology and the councils are providing intelligence as to where it should be happening.
Well, George Aboud, a pioneer of Trinidad and Tobago's business landscape, has died at the age of 77 after a period of illness. Starting from humble beginnings in his family's fabric shop on Charlotte Street, he went on to build a retail and property empire that included malls, pharmacies, and major commercial developments across the country. He was the founder of the Boutique brand, later expanding into ventures like Starlight Drugs and several shopping centers, including Eastgate's Mall in Trin City. Doma President Gregory Abu described him as a pioneering businessman who transformed opportunity into lasting enterprise despite setbacks including fires in the 1970s and the 1990 coup attempt. He's being remembered as a hardworking and disciplined figure in business and is survived by his children and sister. Well, 7 inmates at the Port of Spain prison have been baptized in a ceremony led by Pastor Wilma Kelly of the Way of Holiness. Now, the event held on April 17th formed part of ongoing faith-based rehabilitation efforts within the prison system aimed at encouraging reflection, discipline, and personal transformation. The Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service says such initiatives play an important role in supporting rehabilitation and preparing inmates for reintegration into society. Well, in case you were into anything tech these days, or you're not, let me introduce you to something that can probably be very interesting to you. And it's something we'll talk about in the coming days as more information on this comes to hand. It's a tiny brain implant, and it's no bigger than a blueberry. And it could soon change the way severe depression is treated. Just think about that for a second. How amazing would that be? Now, it's a Houston-based startup called Motif Neurotech, and they've just received approval from the US FDA to begin human trials on its wireless brain device designed for patients who have not responded to multiple antidepressants. And I believe that is truly helpful in today's society. You know, so many people are struggling in that area, and this can be a game changer. Now, the implant is placed during a simple 20-minute outpatient procedure, and it sends gentle electrical stimulation to targeted areas of the brain linked to mood control. And researchers are saying that the goal is to simply reduce the symptoms of treatment-resistant depression, another very key word in today's society, while also helping doctors to monitor brain activity for more personalized treatment. So as that rolls out, I'll continue to bring you the updates on that. Also, yesterday, we saw just highlights and the live stream of Sadra Mohammed's funeral that was live on a few pages yesterday. So took in some of that, and it was indeed a heartbreaking day, but also heartwarming to hear all of the tributes that went out to Sadra Mohammed. So our prayers, thoughts, condolences go out to the friends, family, and loved ones of Sadra Mohammed. His memory will continue to live on, and of course his role in the media industry in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, at this point we take a short break, and when we come back we have much more for you. Don't forget we link up with Talk City a little later on. Also Camino Realty International, they're going to be with us. And today we're also joined by IOM, that's the IOM Caribbean, and their coordinator is with us today. If you want to contribute to the show, all you have to do is send us an email at ttt@ttt.co.tt. Our social media platforms are listed on the screen for you as well. Follow us at TTT Live Online and at TNT Today Show.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success, because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports. Committed, accurate, relevant.
Embrace life with Guardian Life. Every step is one step closer to live easy.
Embrace life with Guardian Life. Life, health insurance, and pension solutions.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are
The Duncans.
Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
I'm Renee Sion with another edition of Caribbean Week in Review.
Unleash your imagination with TTT's Terrific Toon Time. Join us as we stop evil geniuses from taking over the world on Super Z, or hop on board for a journey into outer space with Galaxy Kids. Be a part of our quest to save the forest alongside our robot pals from Bugspot Ignition. Or let's go exploring with Duda and Dada. It's fun-filled adventure with Terrific Toon Time right here on TTT.
Well, this morning we're looking at migration beyond the headlines. When we move, inclusion, identity, and belonging highlights the lived experiences of migrants across the Caribbean, exploring the challenges they face and the contributions that they make. The conversation is hosted by the International Organization for Migration in collaboration with CARICOM. And joining me this morning is Patrice Quesada, IOM Caribbean Coordinator. Good morning, Mr. Quesada, and welcome.
Good morning. It's truly a pleasure to be with you and your viewers this morning.
So, Mr. Quesada, this conversation is titled When We Move. So tell us a little bit about the purpose of this discussion, what prompted it, and why is it especially important at this time?
Well, first, thanks for having us and for giving us an opportunity to present these initiatives that we are doing. So this particular conversation will take place this evening at 6:30, and we really hope that as many of you as possible will be interested to join and hear the live experiences of three Caribbean persons that have been through the migration experience and that have moved to a new place in the Caribbean. We have Jade Gomez that moved from Guatemala to Belize, Castor Clevens from Haiti to Suriname, Shanna Newton-Williams from Dominica to Barbados. And this is one that particularly I think I'm very fond of, because usually when we talk about migration, we talk about the statistics, we talk about the figures, we talk about the needs, we talk about the issues, but rarely we give a face to what is migration. And with this particular event, we really wanted to bring it down to what it means, what is the life experiences of those people, what did they go through, what are they contributing to. And I'm pretty sure that many of your viewers will also find themselves in some of those stories, because from my own experience in the Caribbean, from the past 3.5 years, where I have the chance to cover all the countries of the region, I've realized that whenever you talk to someone, you don't have to go very far in the discussion to realize how migration has shaped either their personal story or their family story. And I think there is this very strong heritage in the Caribbean, and it's extremely important to ensure that we can put a face to it.
So when people hear migration, they often think in terms of numbers and policies. But what is one aspect of the migrant experience that the statistics would fail to capture?
It's a very good question, because it's true that it's important to have data. It's impossible to have properly crafted migration policy that can really benefit an entire country, an entire community. But at the same time, we know that it's just a partial representation of what people have to go through. What we tend to forget is sometimes also why they ended up migrating. In two of the cases that we have, and that they will tell their story this evening, we have persons that had to move not because they wanted, but because they were forced to. Shana in Dominica moved to Barbados after Maria. Jade Gomez in Guatemala moved because of the political violence her family was subject to. And that's not necessarily something that we see when we talk about policy. We tend to see how many people are entering, how many people are exiting a country. So I think it's very important to try to understand first where people come from, but also to understand then what it is to come as a migrant in a society. And for those that have not experienced that, it's sometimes difficult to relate to it. It feels, often I see, especially with my children, it's like when you have to move to a new school. You don't know the other kids, you don't know the teachers, you're not familiar with the environment, and everything can feel overwhelming. And what we've realized is that in that context, the statistics don't necessarily show the importance of the community that is hosting migrants, the importance of the small little everyday interaction that is helping them to connect with other people in their new communities, the small services that are available to them. That's where it's happening. That's where we talk about integration. That's where we talk about people feeling welcome in a neighborhood and start belonging. And as soon as you feel like you belong, that's when you start becoming truly a contributor to your new society.
Yeah. Mr. Quezada, can you tell us about this event today? It's happening later on today, right?
Yes, at 6:30 this afternoon.
All right, so give us the details of that event before we wrap up.
Yes, so what we will have is 3 persons that will basically tell a little bit about their stories. And this is in continuation to other conversations that we've been having throughout the Caribbean since 2023. And the idea is really to give them the ability to share their voice, to show that if we want migration policy to work, they must start with the people, not with fear, not with assumptions, but really about their experiences, their life experiences. So I don't want to say too much about it because I really want them to tell their story. But if you take Castor Cleveland's, for instance, his mother, Haitians, was in Suriname to make a better living, and she wanted to come back and get her son with her. So she went back to Haiti. That was January 2010, and then the earthquake struck. She lost her feet during that. She became disabled, but she still decided to go on and to go to Suriname and bring her son. And what you will hear is his testimony and what opportunities it happened to him.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of story we want to put to the forefront of this type of discussions.
Well, Mr. Quezada, we know that you have so much to offer, especially in this area of discussion, and we would love to have you back on the show to discuss. Thank you so much for being here. All the best in this upcoming event today, a little later on today. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Well, Carrie's up next with the major network news at the top of the hour, 7 a.m. Stay tuned for that.
Talk City 91.1. Thought-provoking conversations, bold perspectives, voices you trust. Talk City 91.1, bigger, bolder, and more powerful than ever before.
Yes, Talk City 91.1 FM.
A brand new era of talk radio is here. With voices you know, trust, and respect. Get ready for an all-new lineup of the very best in talk. Andy Williams, Lennox Smith, Stephen Reese, Mr. X, Derek Charbodi, Roland Stewart, Sharon Farfan, Sudath Prasad, Heavy Duty, Alex Asing, Karen Francisco, Cherry-Leen Lewis, Short Pants, and more of the voices shaping the national conversation. From hard-hitting current affairs to real community issues, culture, politics, social development, and the stories that matter most to you. This is where Trinidad and Tobago comes to talk.
So I'll go right here on Talk City 91.1, where we're going to give you something new, something hot every day, Monday to Friday.
Listen on 91.1 FM and connect on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Talk City 91.1. Your city, your voice.
The plays that shake the arenas. The stories that move a nation. From football to cricket, track to tennis, every win, every rivalry, every headline. This is where Trinidad and Tobago come for sports.
TTT Sports with Nasira Mohammed, daily at 7 p.m.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. Making the news at this time. The Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Ravi Ratiram, said the long-anticipated agro-processing facility is expected to become operational in the near future. Minister Ratiram said the outfitting of the agro-processing facility is now in progress and will provide farmers with expanded opportunities for packaging and value-added processing of their produce.
And I'm happy to announce that within a few days from now, within the coming weeks, we are going to be launching and recommissioning the Namdevco BC packing house, which is going to be known as the Agro-Processing Central of Trinidad and Tobago. Very soon, we are going to be opening that. You all know that we would have gotten agro-processing facility from the Prime Minister of India, valued at about $1 million US.
The minister added that operational changes are also coming for the Piarco packing house. He said plans are underway to significantly expand its operating schedule in order to better serve farmers and exporters.
The only packing house that was operating would have been the Piarco packing house, operating from 8 to 4, Monday to Friday. I have good news that before Namdevco board, there is a note at this point in time where we are looking at expanding the operations of the Piarco packaging house that is soon going to be operating 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Independent Senator Anthony Vieira likened Carnival to an institution of learning that extends far beyond traditional classrooms, as he piloted a motion in the Senate urging greater recognition of the festival's role in developing skills, fostering training, and creating long-term economic opportunities.
If we plan wisely, Carnival can create jobs, earn foreign exchange, develop skills, strengthen tourism, preserve heritage, and deepen national unity. And more than that, it can remind us of who we are.
Speaking in the Senate on Tuesday, he urged government to adopt a long-term strategic approach to sustaining and expanding the festival beyond the annual event.
Imagine if Carnival production were linked to technical education at a national level, not just at the UTT. Imagine accredited programs in costume engineering, event logistics, sound production, stagecraft, and creative entrepreneurship. We would not merely celebrate Carnival, we would build careers through Carnival.
Senator Vieira said the issue was urgent, noting intensifying global competition and warning that better organized and promoted festivals, such as Barbados Kadooment, were drawing visitors away, raising questions about whether the local carnival was delivering the best possible visitor experience. On to some sport now. Paris Saint-Germain outlasted Bayern Munich in a breathtaking 5-4 victory, taking a slim advantage into the second leg of the Champions League semi-final. This first saw 5 goals light up the first half, with João Neves and Ousmane Dembele among the scorers for PSG, while Harry Kane and Michael Olise struck for Bayern. A controversial penalty converted by Dembele gave the holders a narrow 3-2 half-time lead. PSG pulled away after the break, extending the lead to 5-2, but Bayern rallied, scoring 2 late goals, cutting the deficit to 1. The return leg is set for May 6 in Munich, with the winners to face either Arsenal or Atletico Madrid in their final in Budapest. And that's what's making the news at this time. When we come back, it's hour number 2 of Trinidad and Tobago Today.
from all over Trinidad and Tobago. Anil, wrapping roti at lightning-fast speed.
Sandra, nailing every order in her hardware.
Lisa, who is in sync with style. There is no buffering at her boutique.
And Dr. Alex, filling prescriptions with care. They're all part of the 5,000-strong businesses, connected and growing with reliable, high-speed service from Amplia.
Now it's your turn.
Because with Amplia,
you're in good company. Amplia Business.
Since 1972, one sound has been living in the heart of Trinidad and Tobago, the longest running radio station in the nation.
We're your holiday soundtrack, whether it's on your day off, long drives, or house limes. We are always sweet.
This is music with meaning, music with memories.
Music that feels like home.
and it's not just the songs, it's the voices you trust, personalities you've grown with.
Laughter that sounds familiar. This isn't just radio, it's tradition. It's memories. It's part of who we are.
Sweet 100.1 FM, the rhythm of our identity, part of your family.
Always 100, got you on your way. Sweet 100, sweet 100.
Attention viewers in Trinidad and Tobago. The Truth of God now airs on the TTT network every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. You won't want to miss the dynamic preaching of Pastor Jennings as he speaks from God's Holy Bible. The Truth of God, Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. on the TTT network.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago Today on TTT. Well, as we approach the commemoration of Point Fortin Borrow Day, here's a look at how the celebration has evolved over the years.
Every year around the end of April, Point Fortin changes. Streets fill with people, music moves through the town, and for days, everything leads up to one moment, Borrow Day. Weeks of celebrations culminate on April 30th, or sometimes the first Saturday in May. This celebration, though, was forged long before the festivities. In 1980, the law to create the Borough of Point Fortin was approved on March 24th. Important, yes, but the real turning point came a few weeks later. On April 30th, 1980, the first Borough Council was officially sworn in, making Lionel Blake the mayor. On that day, Point Fortin stepped into its own. It was no longer just an oil town, but a borough with its own voice. And this is where the celebrations grew. What began as a way to bring life back into the town to support businesses and bring families together became one of the biggest festivals in Trinidad outside of Carnival. And every year when the celebration returns, Point Fortin doesn't simply remember its history, it lives it. History lives in places we pass every day, and right here in Point Fortin, the story continues. So take a moment, look a little closer, because there's always more to discover down in the borough.
Beautiful Point Fortin. Well, a once abandoned gingerbread house on Anna Street in Woodbrook is now at the center of a growing restoration effort, capturing attention online and reconnecting people to its history. Well, leading the project is interior designer Ashley Strobel, who is working to preserve not just a structure, but a piece of Trinidad and Tobago's architectural identity. Good morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So this is such an exciting project, and I can only imagine how deeply connected you are to this, and that's why you've taken this up. But we'll get to that in a short bit. So take us back to when you first encountered the house. What condition was it in, and what made you decide that this was worth saving, worth my time and my energy?
So the house, when we first arrived, was in pretty rough condition. It had kind of been left almost as if the person had picked up and left it as it was. There was furniture, glasses. We even found passports just kind of just in place. So the house was literally just kind of like sat still in time. And over time, there had been a bit of termite damage, a bit of water damage, and some improper maintenance that led the house to being in kind of an extreme state. But what's really unique about this house is that for the most part, a lot of it wasn't changed over time, so it's still very original. So that was why we felt it was really important to save it, because it's one of the few in Woodbrook that's left basically intact.
Yeah. So can you walk us through the approach of preserving the original materials? I know you don't want to change too much of the house, am I correct?
Yeah.
So now you have to try to balance that with also restoring it as much as possible. So how are you going to achieve all of that?
Absolutely. So for the most part, these gingerbread houses are made of riverstone and lime and timber. So as long as you remove any rotten timber, you just put back the same shape, same size timber members. And we have local manufacturers that manufacture the lime mortar that you need, and the riverstone is just remixed with the lime and rebuilt. So for the most part, the house tells you exactly what it needs, and you just kind of make sure to replace like with like, and you'll be okay.
Do you know the history of this house, the exact history?
So I haven't been able to identify the exact year that it was built, but these gingerbread houses are typically built in the early 1900s. And through the whole social media journey, I was contacted by a previous tenant who lived in the house between the 50s and 60s as a child, and he said even then it felt like an old house. So it definitely has been around for quite some time, and we've had a lot of people reach out and say, you know, we were the neighbors, we lived down the street. So there seems to be quite a rich family history within the house of different families that have lived there over time.
For those who don't know, what is the name Gingerbread House? What does it mean, and how did that name come about?
So gingerbread houses are part of our vernacular architecture, so they're not easily technically defined, but we refer to them as gingerbread houses because the fretwork, the timber ornamentation, gives it a frosted kind of look, so they call them gingerbread houses.
It's really interesting. Now, you've also said that the house tells you what it needs. What does that mean to you?
So a lot of people are very intimidated by restoration because they lean so much on modern construction methods. They think concrete and steel is the way to go. But a lot of the times with these restoration projects, you're just kind of replacing what exists, you know. So as long as you listen to the house and look at the existing condition and make sure you use the same materials, it's a fairly simple process.
And do you have help in this process, or you're just on your own with this?
No, absolutely. We have an incredible team. The project's being led by Altrin Limited, and we have an excellent general contractor, Tony Balroop, along with a number of different highly skilled craftsmen and people that are very passionate about restoring the house accurately and taking a lot of pride in their work. So we have a really excellent team behind us.
Yeah, and you sound like you really want to stay true to what the house was and what it was meant to be.
Definitely.
You don't want to change too much of that, you know, just turn it into, you know, something that's just too much for show. And you also said that you want to involve the public in an open house. So you want to ensure that everyone gets, you know, a taste of all of this. So how important is that for you?
Well, I firmly believe that these houses are part of our collective history and they don't belong to one individual or another. And because we've had so much interest on social media and so many people that just want to come and see the house and want to just, and so many people that have offered their help, we thought, you know, it'd be nice if we had a bit of an open day where we can open up the house and have people come in, and if they want to help paint or if they just want to lime and look at the house, then they're welcome to.
Is there any restoration program or projects that you can that you are using to get all of this done?
So we are working with local craftsmen, and for the most part, nothing has to be imported, which is excellent. And the National Trust has been a real asset to us as well. We got the house approved under the Heritage Tax Allowance Program, so we've had a lot of assistance from them, and they're really working to encourage preservation through the Tax Allowance Program. So they offer a lot of support in different ways.
Yeah. And what has been the most difficult part of this journey for you?
I think the most difficult part has to be the number of times we've opened up a wall that we thought was solid and found that it's been rotting away, and so it has to be rebuilt or whatever. Sometimes it can be a little disheartening, but you know, we've made it through so far, and we're nearing the finish line. So
yeah, do you have a time that you're looking at, an estimated completion time?
Hopefully around the summertime. We're hoping before July.
Wow, so you have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we do.
And when did you start this?
We started at the very end of December.
I see. Now, people are passing these buildings every single day. Why would you tell them, why should they care about preserving this kind of architecture?
So this kind of architecture, like I said, is predominantly built in the early 1900s. So this was during our journey towards independence, and they weren't homes necessarily of the wealthy, they were homes of everyday people. So they are representative of our personal social histories, and gingerbread houses themselves, you know, the details of these houses are from the different countries around the world that make up our population. Like fretwork itself is derived from India and the Islamic world. The fact that the houses are vaulted is from the indigenous people. So the houses very much represent Trinidadian people and our history towards independence. And really
how
important.
long have you been doing these types of restoration projects?
Not too long, actually.
So is this your biggest one yet?
Yes, maybe. I got my master's degree in historic preservation in 2024 and moved home in 2024.
Where did you study?
I studied at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn.
Wow, so hopefully this will be a model for other projects to come. Anything in the works for you? Anything you may have your eyes on that you think you want to head to next?
Yes, I hope, you know, we have a few different discussions, and I really hope that this will inspire the people to restore their local historic architecture as well. And so hopefully this won't be the last.
And how can people get involved if they wanted to, and to assist you in any way?
Oh, wow. Well, people have been reaching out on the Instagram page. So I would say if anybody is interested and wants to take part in the open house when we eventually host it, to just reach out to us. But otherwise, if you want to get involved, the National Trust is a really great asset to us as Trinidadian people. And they have a lot of different tours and a lot of different events if people want to get involved in heritage. And just, you know, to take care of the buildings in your community. And if you see buildings that are abandoned, or if you know people that own these kind of properties, encourage them to look after their houses.
And what are you most excited about in this project?
I'm really excited to see it finished, I have to say. It's a house that a lot of people are very drawn to. It's on a very common street in Woodbrook, so a lot of people know it. So a lot of people are very eager to see it finished, and so am I.
Where exactly is this located?
It's on Lower Anna Street, so between Arapita and Wrightson Road.
So maybe you have passed that and you don't even know. Well, thank you for your great work, Ashley, and thank you for sharing this project with us. It sounds really special.
Thank you very much.
And we really, really can't wait to see the magic that you will make in restoring this gingerbread home.
Thank you very much.
As Ashley is still working to preserve not just a structure, but a piece of Trinidad and Tobago's architectural identity. Well, the time now, it is 7:18 a.m. Coming up inside the show, you know we have that link up today, and also Camino Realty. They're going to be joining us. We take a break and come back.
Women are a quiet strength the world leans on. the hands that holds everything together, and the heart that keeps on giving, even when they're tired. And it's time for us to celebrate that. I'm Yashamani, your host of Majestic Makeover, the series which uplifts and transforms the lives of everyday women who've carried so much for so long. In this season, we're looking for women like these, women who have endured, women who survive, women who keep on going, no matter what. A woman who's lost a loved one and finds the strength to go on. A survivor of crime who refused to be broken. A woman over 70 who gives to her family and the community every single day. A survivor of serious illness who continues to live with hope and courage. A physically challenged woman living fully with dignity and determination. These are the stories we want to honor. Do you know her? Nominate her. Let's celebrate her. Send us 2 brief paragraphs which briefly states who she is, your relationship to her, and why she deserves this journey. As well, send us your contact information. Send it to majesticmakeover@tt@gmail.com. Because remember, every woman needs to feel majestic. Majestic Makeover Season 3, right here on TTT.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
There are a number of risk factors for heart disease, so a lot of attention has to be put towards preventive cardiology. What can we do to reduce the burden due to all these risk factors? Hypertension, diabetes, cholesterol, need to stop cigarette smoking, you gotta get people exercising.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
The Public Administration and Appropriations Committee on Tuesday continued its examination into the state's acquisition of pharmaceuticals, focusing on importation and approval processes. This follows the removal of PNM Senator Janelle John Batiste from the committee. That should be Janelle John Bates from the committee, amid allegations she assisted a key witness, former Health Minister Terrence Dialsing, in preparing a statement for the inquiry. It is alleged she used track changes to edit that statement. The issue is one we've been following closely on this program. Opposition Senator Vishnu Danpal has since been appointed to the committee.
There's one matter I wish to clarify for the public record. As the public has now become aware, Senator John Bates has been replaced on this committee by Senator Danpal. I saw it reported that Senator John Bates had said that she respected the decision of the committee to remove her. Let me clear that up right away. This committee has no power to appoint or revoke anyone's appointment. That is done, and the appointment is done entirely, and revocation, where necessary, is done entirely by the leaders of the respective benches in the House in which the member serves. So this committee plays no role, absolutely no role. We do not get to vote on that. We do not get to comment on that. The membership of this committee is decided solely by the leader of the House in which the member serves. So I want to disabuse the public's mind from that notion that this committee played any role in the removal of this committee by the previous member. I wish to make that abundantly clear.
Well, continue with another update for you this morning. Political forecaster Dr. Justin Pear is also saying that the UNC remains firmly on track for another election victory if polls were held today. And that's exactly 1 year after taking office. And he's crediting the strength to the UNC's clear direction and unity, and saying that they're continuing to keep it ahead politically. Well, a logo tells a tale, and the Point Fortin Borough's logo is full of message and significance. Here's what this logo means.
A logo might look simple at first glance, but every detail tells a story. The Borough of Point Fortin's logo reflects identity, history, and vision. The colors red, black, and white mirror the national flag, rooting the borough firmly within Trinidad and Tobago. The black ring carries the borough's name and represents oil, the black gold that shaped its development. A wreath of cocoa leaves honors the early estates and the people who built the foundation of the community. At the center, a steel pan-inspired design celebrates culture, while interlocking gears symbolize industry and progress. Golden lines stretch across the design, highlighting Point Fortin's connection to the wider world and global energy. And the human figures reflect diversity, unity, and faith. A people grounded, but always reaching forward. It holds the story of a people, their journey, their work, and the future they continue to shape. History lives in the places we pass every day. And right here in Point Fortin, the story continues. So, take a moment, look a little closer, because there's always more to discover down in the borough.
Just a reminder about the weather for today with Zaina James preparing you for the day ahead.
Zaina James here with your weather update. For Wednesday's forecast, we are expecting a stable atmosphere to be the dominant feature across our area, producing a hot and sunny day across both Trinidad and Tobago. With a relatively dry atmosphere in place, precipitation chances will remain very low, though the odd brief shower cannot be ruled out. Temperatures will climb to around 33 degrees in Trinidad and 31 degrees in Tobago. At sea, conditions will be moderate in open waters, with wave heights near 1.5 meters and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. With a new moon approaching on the 1st of May, spring tides will remain in effect, so all marine interests are advised to exercise caution, especially around high tide.
Well, you have been waiting for it, and now it's time for us to connect with Talk City 91.1 FM. As part of our weekly link up, we continue to bridge television and talk radio, bringing both audiences into one shared space for a few minutes.
It's unfiltered, y'all. Unmatched. Unscripted. You're dressed for talk. This is the link up. This is the link up with Talk City 91.1 FM.
Well, we're checking in with the team to see how the shift is going and what conversations are taking place on their side this morning. Talk City 91.1 FM. Good morning, Andy and Lennox.
Good morning to you as well, my dear. See that you're looking very splendid indeed.
Thank you, and it's good to see that your co-host is next to you today. We missed you last week, Andy.
Yes, well, it was see, man, from now on, man, it was a drastic mistake, but Virmala, I'm offended by Lennox Smith telling you how beautiful you are because it come across to me that he's looking for a wife, you know. And,
oh my goodness, how did we get here this morning? Where was the conversation before I joined you?
I just don't know.
All right, the conversation before.
I'm sure you can explain.
The conversation before was again NLCB. Well, we have what is called the mark of the day, the ground report mark of the day, the pitbull capiche of the day, brought to you by NLCB. That's the company that loves to give money there. That company loves to give money. And so far for the week, people went 2 days straight, Monday, Tuesday. But Friday, because today is Wednesday. Yeah, people went Friday and Monday. And yesterday we lost. So that was the conversation before, right? And other than that, I come to protest You see, I have my balloon here. I come to protest today because I believe TTT and yourself, the morning program there, Trinidad and Tobago Today, deserve a raise of pay. So I come to protest for all the members of staff, freelancers, to get a raise of pay for the wonderful job that you all are doing, and to also protest on my co-host here, Lennox Smith. Yeah, well, we could do a raise of pay too, but to protest him, he's too diplomatic. And as I told him, Virmala, diplomacy is good, but sometimes you have to be like a pit bull. You know, you have to, because diplomacy always don't work. Right? If diplomacy works, I told him there that Ukraine won't have a war, Iran won't have its war, we call this Maduro won't have been in a jail in New York right now if diplomacy works at all times. But you know, my co-hosts always have some kind of
well, I have always said that when belligerence and warlike and bellicose language either fails or succeed, diplomacy will always prevail.
Yeah, you know, I think sometimes you have to be, you know, when you're a little sweet and, you know, quiet and kind, you might win over people and situations. What do you think about all that, Lennox? I feel like you're on my side with this one.
Well, yes, I'm saying that whether you had a bellicose period or a warlike period, at the end of the day, the Second World War, the First World War, all ended with what? With diplomatic flurry, a diplomatic scenario where, of course, settlements would have been pursued, and of course, as a consequence, we had a period of peace until of course, the Second War and the several wars that we have now. But diplomacy always works.
Nice, but what it is I want to bring to Trinidad and Tobago today is very important, because you know I like to go for the truth, but in the right way, the legal way. We are seeing here today the Auditor General flags weak oversight on $677 million in incomplete school projects. Here we heard to me, Virmala. The government, and I throw in that for all governments, when it coming to we having a break glass, or when it coming to the fines, the road fines, they strengthen it up. We must know to obey the law, go with the law, as we have to pay fines. But over and over, Virmala, and all of you that are viewing Trinidad and Tobago this morning, and I know you all will agree with me, we seeing where, whether it be CEOs, whether it be chairmen, whether it be business people, either or, whereby when it comes to our money, they throw away money. They say it have a law there a long time, which is misbehavior in public office. How come, and I want the UNC government to tighten up on that law if it's there, because nobody not getting hold. Why did somebody could throw away 600 million and get away unscathed? They go about their business, they go about their own business, making money in their own business, and they have no consequences to suffer. So my take this morning is that politicians, CEOs, permanent sects, deputy permanent sects, chairman, the people that is in control of our money, so long as they throw it away, so long as they mishandle it, they must have consequences to their actions. Make a jail, let me take the home, let me take the car, let me take the businesses. They must suffer the consequences in throwing away with money. Let me hear what my co-host had to say. He going to be a diplomat.
I implicitly agreed. It's just that I would want to caution that due process must take place. That's all.
All these years? Since we are independent and no due process and nobody get locked up yet?
But amend the laws, obviously, and let the due process take. In other words, we are not savage, so you need to go to the courts, of course, and let the court adjudicate based on the process that we have grown accustomed to, because we are not really gods and persons who can determine whether or not a person's mind is so guilty or not guilty. So that is the only proviso I will interject into that discussion. What's your view on that, Virmala?
I'm going to have to lean on your side today. Lennox. I'm sorry, Andy. Lennox is my friend. I believe in diplomacy. I really do. Thank you for sharing all of this with us this morning, gentlemen. Andy, you see, when you come out, this is what happens, right? So I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. We do appreciate you coming today. We missed you last week. Listen, Lennox said how much he missed you last week. He said, I wish Andy was here.
We'll be back next weekend. Next week again, I'll be back.
So we look forward to that. And Lennox is
I hope you agreed with me this time. I hope you give me the support next week.
Virmala, thank you for that level of diplomacy.
Was that? Sorry, Lennox?
That level of diplomacy, thank you, because you have just appeased
a
Andy.
diplomatic Wednesday morning.
Yes.
Guys, I want to tell you about something that I was involved in yesterday, and it's spoken word and poetry. And I happen to be a judge at this competition hosted by Dr. the Honorable Michael Dowlath. And it's basically talking about fathers. That's the theme of this competition. And it's allowing students across the constituency and the area of San Fernando to write poems and spoken word about fathers and the role of fathers and the presence of fathers in their lives. And I thought that would be a very beautiful one for, not just for Father's Day, but also, in society we continue to see a breakdown, sadly, of all these morals and values, and parents play such a huge role, and caregivers, not just parents, but somebody who may have stepped up as a father. And guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing so you can see on the screen, this is from yesterday, and we're looking forward to hearing what these students have to say about the role of fathers and to connect with their fathers as well. And our very own Mariah Ramharak hosted. So what do you think about that theme of fatherhood, a father's presence?
Magnificent in my view, of course, coming from a teaching background. I can tell you that machoism should be curtailed or should be tempered with a sympathetic understanding of the reality. And this strongman approach and this domineering approach will not work in the present circumstance, particularly where the rights of children is so uppermost and is of an international recognized nature that fathers must continue to play a significant role in terms of leadership, but of course at the same time tempered in such a way so as to understand the family values, the role that they have to play, both in terms of a provider as well as an emotional, let's say, placater, and all of those multiple roles that parents are expected to play, not just in the child's or their children's daily lives, but certainly the role of their neighborhood and their families. So I want to commend the ministry and the minister and therefore the government for pursuing that role, that initiative, even though it may be a constituency focus. I'm sure that is a microcosm that could be replicated in other parts of the country in due course.
Yeah, but I always have one quick late twist to all of that, and I will hope too that the government and the mothers organize to and recognize fathers, because in Trinidad and Tobago we realize women totally, absolutely dominates. And I want to say a pleasant good morning to Mr. Seals, the Single Fathers Association brother president, who always do a good job in trying to represent fathers, because we all know in this world here too, fathers are being taken advantage upon to, and men always not getting that benefit of the doubt. Women always have the more upper hand or clap, or everybody tends to go in the woman direction. But again, recognize fathers too. Fathers too on the road.
So the theme is the power of a father's presence, and as I said, I think it's a very appropriate time for us to have that discussion, and to also encourage children to find the things and the ways by which their parents inspire them and keep them on the right road, and to really remember that they need to continuously appreciate their parents as well, and also to appreciate the parents and just give them that spotlight, and to give the fathers a spotlight. Very, very, very important. Wow. I love
we
that.
actually get a spotlight. Fathers
Yes,
get a spotlight.
absolutely. We can never, ever ignore the role of a father in society. And of course, there are parents who play both roles. So it goes both ways. So thank you, gentlemen, for weighing in on that.
Before you go, Virmala, at least tell me, well, Andy, I agree with you on this one today.
Andy, I agree with you on this one today. Thank you, guys. Have a beautiful day. We will talk to you next Wednesday.
Good diplomacy.
I'm a diplomatic individual, Lennox. I'm learning from the best. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk soon. All right, that was the link up with Talk City 91.1 FM.
It's unfiltered, y'all. Unmatched. Unscripted. You're dressed for talk. This is the link up. This is the link up with Talk City 91.1 FM.
The time is now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. No, not that. Right now.
All I need is one night. We're gonna have to splurge on it. All I need is one night. I went deaf on it.
No, not that. Right now.
All I need is one night. We're gonna have to splurge on it. All I need is one night. I went deaf on it.
This is the new day.
A new sound, a new style, a new style, a new class. Next 99.1 FM, the next level of radio.
Right now.
Every client deserves expertise, integrity, and guidance they can trust. At Camino Realty International, we deliver integrated real estate solutions, sales, rentals, property management, and project development. Driven by excellence, transparency, and innovation, we protect value, create opportunity, and build lasting success. Because real estate isn't just about buildings. For more information on our services, log on to CaminoRealty.com or follow us on social media at Camino Realty TT. Camino Realty International, elevating lives one property at a time.
I'm Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
More news, more access, more ways to stay informed. TTT News covers the stories that matter on air and online. Join us nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
On Wednesdays, we're joined by Camino Realty International as we focus on a wide range of real estate topics to educate, support, and empower prospective homeowners throughout the property purchasing process. So this morning, I'm happy to be joined once again by Managing Director Rachel Ramla. Good morning and welcome back, Rachel.
Good morning.
You are a staple on Wednesdays, and we love when you can join us to talk all about this process. You know, so many people, Rachel, have been talking about the fact that this segment helps them to understand what they need when going through this process. So we've been discussing at length proper documentation, especially in the sales process.
Right.
So continuing that discussion now, I want to ask you about the WASA clearance certificate, because that happens to pop up a lot in this entire process. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Right. So a WASA clearance certificate is an official document provided by WASA confirming that your rates and taxes have been paid up to date. So you have no outstanding payments due to WASA.
Wow. Do you have to pay for the certificate, or how do you get this?
Yes. So the cost of the certificate for residential properties is $450. For commercial properties, it's $843.75, I believe. This is a non-refundable payment, so you have to make the payment as well as fill out their application form in order to get the clearance certificate.
But this is a necessary document.
Correct.
So you must have this.
Yes. So every time you do a sales transaction, whether it be for land or property, like a physical structure, the attorneys will request a WASA clearance certificate from you.
So now I'm going to ask you, how exactly do you begin, or where do you begin when obtaining this clearance certificate? I believe we have some help on the screen as well that we can talk about this process. Yeah?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty simple. You just have to go to WASA's website, which is www.wasa.gov.tt. And from there, on the top of the screen, you'll see a tab labeled Services. And when you click there, you'll see a drop-down menu where they have all of their forms. So you can click Clearance Certificate Application Form, and then it takes you straight to the application form. It's a 2-page form. The first part is pretty straightforward. You enter your information, the property information. The second part, it gives you the additional documents that you need to submit along with the application form. And those additional documents would be your 2 forms of ID, your certificate of payment, an updated bill showing that you paid it off, because before they actually issue you the clearance certificate, you have to pay. The bills have to be cleared.
Yeah, in order.
So, correct. So if you have any outstanding fees owing at that point, WASA will tell you, hey, there's X amount owing on the bill.
Okay.
You need to clear this. They will print the bill. They will print the receipt for you. And then you submit that along with your application for the clearance certificates. There are other things they may ask you for, like a property sketch. So it shows exactly where the property is located. Sometimes WASA does conduct site visits in that whole process. Sometimes they may also ask you for a completion certificate. So if you are applying for a clearance for a private development, one of the requirements you would have to submit is a completion certificate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Now, how long is this WASA clearance valid for?
So it is valid for about 3 months, and they do give you a letter. So when you submit your application, they give you a letter. On the letter, they give you the timeline for when the certificate is going to be ready. And then when you get the certificate, they also let you know that it's valid for 3 months.
And how long does it take to process this request?
So it normally takes 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, that's not long.
It's not, it's not bad. So while both the vendor and purchaser are working on their obligations or their requirements for the sale, you request the WASA clearance. So okay, I've done that. I'll check back in 2 weeks for the WASA clearance. Let me work on something else in the meantime.
So we're seeing the tutorial here. So can you walk us through this? So
right,
when you
click services, you would see the drop down for the different forms, and then this is what the form looks like actually. So that's the first page there where you would enter your information, and then of course they would ask you if it's like a private property, if it's commercial, if it's land or so on. They have some more yes or no questions. And then the second page is where you will sign You'll also see there's a section for somebody else to sign. Like if I'm doing the transaction on your behalf, of course you give me an authorization letter, and you sign the form. I sign my section, and then I can actually do the process on your behalf.
So you see again, that's the drop down, and then you select the form.
Yep.
And then you fill it out.
It literally opens up right there on the screen.
It's easy.
It's actually it is pretty easy.
Okay.
And
you fill it out right there.
Yeah. And the second page gives you the documents, and it tells you which ones are applicable to you and which ones are not. So yes, I mentioned a couple things before, but not all of them would be necessary. It depends on
what's applicable to you. Yeah, you would have to.
Yes.
Yeah. So just a reminder, what exactly is the WASA clearance certificates, and why do we need that?
Right. So the clearance certificate is an official document that is required for all sales transactions by the attorneys. It confirms that the rates and taxes have been paid up to date for the property that you are purchasing.
All right, and just tell us the documents that you need, or what do we need to complete the certificate?
Right, so the first step is your application form, and of course you collate your other documents, so like your certificate of assessment, your 2 forms of ID, your completion certificate if it's necessary, the certificate of assessment as your land and building taxes paid up to 2009. If you need an authorization letter, so if it's an agent acting on behalf of the owner. Also, if the vendor or the owner of the property lives abroad, their IDs would have to be notarized. So those are all of the additional documents that would accompany the application. Now, once you've collated all of those documents and you have your application form, you can go into any WASA branch and just submit it. And from there, they'll give you the letter confirming you submitted a request for a clearance certificate. And it'll give you a time frame as to when it will be ready.
You really broke that down for us, Rachel. So that explains it, the WASA clearance certificate, why you need it. And of course, you can get all the information. Just send them an email. Their email address is on the screen for you. Well, thank you, Rachel, for joining us. We see you next week, Wednesday, where we get to do this all over again with Camino Realty International. While we take a break and come back, it's the home stretch of the show.
Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Benin. Coming up, Jamaica, here we come. These women of vision are on a mission. Ride the waves and savor the flavor, otherwise known as spending quality time in Antigua and Barbuda. Fun times, plus the food that sets St. Kitts and Nevis apart, all available under one roof. Cue the entertainment and the food. It's Chinese Spring Festival time.
What if possibility was only the beginning? Welcome to Limitless, a journey where ideas become action and action becomes impact. From breaking barriers and challenging misconceptions to designing with dignity and driving innovation with heart. This series explores how inclusion is moving from concept to community in Trinidad and Tobago. Across each episode, we meet the change makers and everyday leaders turning challenges into opportunity, building real solutions that change real lives, from possibility to impact. This is Limitless.
it's almost time to say goodbye. Thank you so much to our guests for joining us today on Trinidad and Tobago Today. And don't forget, tomorrow we have Tobago Thursday, so that's always a treat to look forward to. I hope you had a wonderful morning. If you're getting ready for school or for work, thank you for starting your mornings with us. You know, this is where your morning starts, and of course, this is where the truth lies as well. So thank you for being a part of the show. We see you tomorrow 6 to 8, where we do this all over again. But we leave you now with some Taekwondo action. The Trinidad and Tobago Northern Taekwondo Championship took over the Eastern Regional Indoor Sports Arena in Tacarigua last Sunday. With over 250 competitors, the event showcased traditional patterns, continuous sparring, and powerful breaking displays, all backed by an energetic crowd. The championship was proudly hosted by Maraval Taekwondo, El Socorro Taekwondo, and Phoenix Taekwondo. Special thanks to our very own Sanjay Muniram for capturing the action live on the ground. This is how we close the show today. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We report the news, real stories in real time. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
I'm Jamila Bannister, host of the Socially Safe podcast, the new TTPS podcast where we share real stories, teach real lessons, and create real impact. From online safety and youth crime to community policing and personal responsibility, we go beyond the headlines and talk about what's happening in our communities with the officers and experts who are on the front lines. Because safety starts with awareness, conversation, and action. Tune in to the Socially Safe podcast on the TTPS YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Don't miss it.
Watch on TTT, Mondays 6 p.m., Tuesdays 1:10 p.m.
Hi everybody, I am Leah.
And I'm Dion.
And we are
The Duncans.
Listen, we're here to tell you about a project the Lord has given to us called the Marriage Confessional. It is geared toward married couples, those that are on the road to marriage, and those that want to get married one day.
So join us on TTT and on Facebook and YouTube at TTT Live Online.
The Marriage Confessional, only on TTT.
When it matters, we're there, reporting the news as it happens, because your world can't wait. TTT News, nightly at 7. TTT News, committed, accurate, relevant.
Good morning, this is your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts, making the news at this time. Building collaboration among partners within CARICOM impacts will strengthen cooperation between law enforcement agencies, policymakers, civil society organizations, and international partners. This approach recognizes that effective action against illicit firearms trafficking depends on shared intelligence, coordinated strategies, and sustained partnerships across borders. These critical issues will be explored at an upcoming workshop, as highlighted by the Deputy Executive Director of CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security, Impacts, Tonya Ayau.
Unit is a unit under CARICOM Impacts, and what it really does is it fosters collaboration across CARICOM as well as internationally. I think yesterday the Commissioner of Police mentioned that perhaps 95% of the firearms, illegal firearms, come from the United States. So obviously for investigations, information sharing, we must be able to collaborate with our partners, ATF, for example. And of course, regionally, what we know is that guns move.
She noted that the United States Division of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives is one of the agencies working with CARICOM to strengthen the regional response to arms trafficking.
One of the successes is that we've had continuous training from the ATF, for example, across the region. The ATF has put a number of resources across the region: Trinidad, Jamaica, Bahamas, Dominican Republic. Have I missed anything, Jackie?
No, yeah, sure.
And certainly because of those resources in country, they have boosted the capacity for firearms investigations in the region.
Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago is already home to one of the world's most prized genetic resources, the Moruga scorpion pepper, and a new public-private partnership is now seeking to convert that fiery potential into sustainable earnings for local agri-entrepreneurs. A two-day workshop held in Freeport by the Mar Vista Institute for Agriculture Training and Development is equipping farmers with technology-driven methods designed to improve yields, climate resilience, and crop management. Chairman of the Mar Vista Institute, Marcus Maiku, said the focus is on continuous innovation across the agricultural value chain.
Hot pepper, by the way, is just one of the crops. We're known for high yields in cassava and papaya and all around. It's really technology and systems with a focus to get, starting, David, from the seedling.
Minister of Agriculture Ravi Ratiram says local farmers are well positioned to take advantage of growing international demand.
Global demand for pepper-based products is both measurable and it's expanding. The international hot sauce market is currently valued in excess of $3 billion United States dollars and is projected to grow steadily over the coming decade, driven by increasing consumer demand for bold flavors and specialty food products.
Minister Ratiram says Trinidad and Tobago holds a distinct competitive advantage through its unique genetic resource, the Trinidad Moruga scorpion pepper. He says by blending science with structured marketing, the local pepper industry is being primed for the global export stage, with a workshop advancing that push. In sport now, the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force continues to hold the advantage, heading into day 4 of their West Indies Championship versus the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. Beginning their first innings on day 3, while chasing 522, Leewards registered a score of 345 all out that included 90 runs from Karima Gore and 121 from Jamar Hamilton. TNT's Anderson Phillip grabbed 4 wickets while Terrence Hines claimed 3. After failing to avoid the follow-on, the Hurricanes began their second innings, which saw them end day 3 on 160 for 4, with Casey Carty on 84 and Justin Greaves on 19. The Leeward Hurricanes trail by 17 runs. And that was your TTT News Update. I'm Carrie Roberts. From the entire team here, have a great day.
This is TTT. Live for local.
Danny's Funeral Home Limited and Crematorium. Death announcements. Following are today's death announcements.